Hello, and welcome to the Finny Games. It's your host, BBG, aka BrokeBlackGamer. What's good, my BGs? Do you want to see a man's tears? Well, you might see mine. Because even though I had some optimism about the upcoming 5080 Super, it turns out that a lot of you were right. It's just a 5080 essentially with a little bit more VRAM, and I was hoping that it would actually be a cut down of the 5090, but that wasn't to be the case. Of course not. I don't know why I expected that, but a big part of me just wanted to be a fanboy, and a big part of me just wanted to be extremely hopeful. Now, there's nothing wrong with having hope, but sometimes being a fanboy can blind you and make you somewhat delusional. And honestly, if it really was going to be cut down from a 5090, it would be weird for it to have a 384-bit bus like the 4090. It would have to be on a 448-bit interface, which would make a lot more sense. And again, the 5090 has a 512-bit interface, and that is just insane. So we still have room for a GPU in between the 5080 Super and the 5090, probably room for 2 GPUs. And also the 5080 Super is what the 5090, it was what the 5080 should have been at launch anyways. It would have been nice to see something a bit more powerful, but of course that's not what happened. This is Nvidia that we're dealing with, and if you look at the comment section in my initial reaction, you can see everyone was just saying like, yo, BBG, this isn't going to happen. This is going to be a trash GPU, and it's just going to be base 5080 with Nvidia drivers. It's going to be missing ROPs, so it's going to be thermal issues. It's going to overheat. It's going to cost over $1,500. It's like, why are you excited for something Nvidia? They've showed their hand, and you should have learned your lesson by now, BBG. There are no more dreams. You are in the infinite Tsukuyomi in your head, but in real life, there is nothing that applied. So anyway, so the 5080 Super 24 gigabyte, they've already said that it looks like it will just be the 5080 for the 5090 version. They've only said that it will be a 256-bit memory bus, and it will be on 24 gigabytes of GDDR7. So now that has officially been confirmed, and also it was said that it won't even provide any additional uplift in gaming from the leak. And again, that's sad. We don't know the price yet, but we do know that it should be coming out around January 30th, 2025 as the generational refresh. And I was hoping that when last generation, when we had the 4080 or this 4060 8 gigabyte, the 4060 Ti 8 gigabyte versus the 4060 16 gigabyte Ti model, we didn't see any difference when they added the VRAM, except for people having productivity, and that's what they're claiming about this card. However, this year, when you're playing more demanding games that are VRAM hungry, especially because DLSS 4 and multi-frame generation umbrella under DLSS 4 require heavy amounts of VRAM, and we did see an improvement, a huge improvement, especially in 1% lows in VRAM hungry modern games, poorly optimized games, with the 5060 Ti 8 gigabyte model versus the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte model. And I'm hoping that there will be the same level of performance boost with the 5080 16 gigabyte versus the 5080 16 24 gigabyte. Good grief, it's so hard to say all these names. But even if not, it still would be good to have extra VRAM for productivity. Now for me, I don't think that with this pitiful 256-bit memory bus, that's not enough of an upgrade to me. I'm not upgrading my GPU until they provide more VRAM and a greater memory bus, more bandwidth, etc. I want a cut of the 4090. I don't want just the second-hand hand-me-down GPU. And essentially, like, that's all this is. So the 90 class cards really are the only cards that would be for me. I have a local micro center in Charlotte, and if I could ever get one at MSRP, I would. I wouldn't upgrade a 4080 Super to the 5080 or 5080 Super. It's just not worth it to me. Especially, I don't want to sacrifice being able to use PhysX. I don't want to sacrifice having reliable drivers, and I also don't want to potentially risk missing them ROPs. Like, I just don't trust the 50 series, and there's no reason to. So now that I'm back in reality, this is not the card for me. The 5080 Super is not my dream card. It was erroneous for me to even believe that that would ever be the case. Now, so that's all I really have to say about the 5080 Super. Disappointing, thumbs down. So the next thing is the 5070 Super. The 5070 Super looks like they're saying it'll have 18 gigabytes of VRAM and a 192-bit memory bus, so still that same lousy 192-bit memory bus, and this GPU will fall in between the performance of a 4070 Ti Super and in between a 5070 base. So again, that's pretty, this might be an interesting card, but again, it's going to be overpriced, and it's not really that much of an upgrade from the base 5070, which was barely an upgrade from the 4070 Super. But it, you know, like this GPU, I mean the 5070, the 4070 Super, based off of the benchmarks I've seen, were the same exact GPU. So, and there actually is a pretty decent gap between the 4070 Ti Super and the 4070 and the 4070 Super, and a pretty good big gap between that, the 4070 Ti Super and the 5070. So this will fall somewhere in between there, clearly. And again, it will be overpriced. It will have 2 gigabytes more VRAM. If it really does have 18 gigabytes on the 5070 Super, I was actually thinking like maybe it will be like last year, where people are like, man, this 4070 Super is complete trash, and they release a 4070 Ti Super as well. They might do that. So look around for maybe a 5070 Ti Super and a 5070. That might be the case too. And I wouldn't recommend any of these GPUs unless you just haven't been able to get one, and they are able to sell these at a decent price, and maybe that will be the GPU you want to go with if you can find one in stock. There's actually 25 or 30 5080s at my local micro center because no one wants to buy them, and I don't blame them. So that brings us to the next GPU, the only GPU that I think is even really worth considering if you're looking for a decent price upgrade and you're stuck on an old GPU and you just want something a little cheaper. That's more of the entry mid-level of GPUs, and that is the 9070 GRE 12 gigabyte. This GPU is looking like it will launch on May 8th, and it's targeted towards 1440p gaming, and it's 6% faster than the 7900 GRE at 1440p. And the kicker about this card, and something that is good, is actually the price. It's supposed to be around $400, which would be great in this horrible, terrible GPU market. You'll get a little bit less performance than the base 9070, and the base 9070 was a pretty good GPU, and you would have affordable an affordable FSR4 GPU, and you wouldn't have to be on a 60 class card. Even AMD 60 class cards are probably better than Nvidia's, but that's a story for another day. It's barely cut down from the 9070. They look pretty similar on paper anyway. We'll have to wait to see if the lack of 4 gigabytes makes much of a big difference, but the 150 price cut should make a big difference for a lot of you. And again, these are still using G6 memory, so it should be readily available. And I hope that the GPU is stocked pretty well, and that the tariffs don't affect any of these GPUs. So for all those people that were agreeing with me that they want a 5080 Super, I would actually hold against that and just wait to, like, if you were thinking this would be like a 4090, maybe just find a used 4090, because this ain't for us if you're looking for that boost. But of course, like always, wait for the benchmarks to come out, see how the real world performance is, because it might actually provide a significant performance boost. But with that 256-bit memory bus, I highly doubt it. Anyways, that's all I have to say for today. Thank you for watching. The Finny games are over for today.